All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Diana Minotti Fine Art Antiques and Collectibles, and our show, Diana's Treasures, a day in the life of an estate appraiser and liquidator. My co host, Perry Mitrano,
And auctioneers.
licensed auctioneers. Yes.
That's good morning.
Good morning.
So
We
it's
have
good
a
to be
very
here.
special guest today, Jim Jaworski of the Daytona Tortugas. We have baseball season is here, and we got lots to talk about today. So, just a reminder, we have an estate sale. We start out in the field, we work and do the estate sales, and then if it doesn't sell and it's fine art, antique, or collectible, it comes to Perry at the gallery.
And we are located at 15 Palm Harbor Village Way, right here in the beautiful city of Palm Coast, Flagler County, Florida. So if you're coming to visit us, punch it in. Driving down 95, it's just punch in Diana Minotti Fine Art, and it will take you right to our shop. And in there, you'll be able to find our items. We also have our eBay store, our Shopify store, and lots and lots of stuff. You also can hire us for things like appraisals, and people oftentimes bring in stuff to get appraised. So Diana does verbal appraisals and written appraisals depending upon your needs. But can I get to the show? Because I'm really excited about the fact that we have the Tortugas here, and I got a relationship with them that goes back a little bit, which
All
I'll
right.
get into a little later. So we have Jim Jaworski.
Jaworski, that's right.
All right, Jim, tell us who you are, where you are, what you're all about, and who you represent.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Jim Jaworski, the president and general manager of the Daytona Tortugas, and very proud to say this is my 16th season here with the organization, and it's the 10th anniversary of the Daytona Tortugas, and yeah, really happy to be here, and thanks for the invite.
So, Diana, tell us where did we end up, and why do we have the Tortugas here today?
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, first of all, everybody loves turtles, right?
That's right.
I noticed the green, by the way.
Yes, we're all on the color. The Flagler County has, I think, 23 sculptures of turtles that we've been placing all over the county. You can sponsor and be one through the, what is it, the Flagler County Cultural Council, FC3. So that's very exciting. I want to do something with them and get a tour together. But anyway, I looked for I don't have a turtle brooch. I gave them all away, but I'm kind of seashelled. I got the.
Right, so you're seashelled of the day versus versus brooch of the day. We always do a brooch of the day, and at the end of the day, at the end of the show, but we don't have one. So Jim, tell us the history of the ballpark. How did it start? Who's it named after, which is very important, and a whole lot more about how it's connected to the city of Daytona Beach.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jackie Robinson Ballpark has been there for over 100 years there on City Island. And on March 17th, 1946, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier right there at the time, City Island Ballpark. And, to be able to call Jackie Robinson Ballpark home, to be able to continue to honor his legacy and the things, not only that he meant to baseball, but also to society, is pretty special. There's been recent movements and work done. The ballpark is already on the National Registry of Historic Places, or has been previously, and has recently in the past year or so moved to being a commemorative site and then working its way towards a historic landmark, which is obviously special. It's really special to continue to play baseball there at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. And in fact, we're in the middle of $30 million of renovations to the ballpark to continue to play professional baseball right there. That's been done for the last 100 years. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, this is the 10th season of the Daytona Tortugas, and continuing to play baseball and continuing to do what we do at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, and not just baseball. It's hosting different events, hosting different community events. We also host Bethune-Cookman University at the ballpark, and they practice and play there as well, which is a pretty cool synergy because Mary McLeod Bethune was certainly very, very instrumental in having Jackie Robinson play in Daytona Beach, and again to be able to continue that story, to be able to continue that legacy is pretty special. And again, just an honor to call Jackie Robinson Ballpark home.
And it has that classic look, Diana. It has that classic look. We've been there many times actually, and it has that classic
We're
look.
going
of
again.
ballpark.
We got an invite from, thank you, Fernanda Haley, PNC Bank, private bank. We've got an invite to go to a game
Yeah, I'm
that they're
excited.
sponsoring.
I love this guy. Ballpark is just it's a beautiful place, and it's here right here in Daytona. It's not far. So you should go. It's off of Orange Avenue. Is
That's
that
right. Yeah, right in downtown
Right
Daytona
off the
Beach, and
downtown.
I had the drive this morning, nice and easy. And that's part of the renovations too. Is the game has just changed, right? And there's more coaches and there's more players and there's more focus on nutrition and there's just more, right? And so again, to me, the beauty of it is to have the history that we do have, and then to be able to continue that is pretty special while still keeping the same look, right? Still have the historic grandstands there behind home plate. You still have the general mission bleachers there on the third base side, and it's pretty special. The museum, that's in and around the stadium itself. If you ask me, the entire stadium is a museum, right? It's not very often that you get to be at a place where history happened. And there was recently a story done by Major League Baseball where they showed the video from the Bat Boy, who is still in Daytona Beach, who was there on that day on March 17th, 1946. And they showed that video of Jackie Robinson coming up to the plate. And then they showed a video of when they were there filming of one of our Tortugas players coming up to the plate. And I get goosebumps just talking about it. And that's what it's about.
Well, we have a little history of our own from.
Oh, we do.
At
Yeah.
the ballpark.
So years ago, we moved here in 2004 or 5, somewhere in there, and I had a job that.
October, we built in '04. We moved in by October of 2005, right before Halloween.
So I worked for a regional company here, and there was a downsizing, and I was affected, and looking for different jobs here and there, and everybody was being affected by the market back then.
'07, '08 was.
So I said to Diana, you know what? I don't want to go look for a job. I just want to create a business, and she had just started her organization and got her estate sale company going in 2008 here. And so we kind of had two new businesses. That's 75% of the American revenue that comes in is done by people like you and I that have small businesses. And so I said, I just want to sell hot dogs. And my wife was very funny. She's just like, okay. Like it wasn't even like, what are you, crazy? You need a job. So
Harry's a good cook, so I'm on that.
Confident, right?
So
And when it was a down economy, cheap eats wins.
Sure.
So
Cheap
you're not
eats
going
wins.
to open like some 5-star big steakhouse. You're going to have a hot dog hut.
Right. So
And it worked out.
So I found a place right there on A1A. It was called the Hot Dog Hut, and I bought it. And I have a recipe for the Dirty Water New York City hot dog, which was taught to me by both Gino and Mario. I know it sounds crazy like a video game, but it's not. And these were two brothers that were Italian immigrants that came over and had push carts and hot dog stands way back in the 70s when I was a kid.
Sure.
And my mother used to leave like $2 for us to go get pizza or whatever, so I'd go get hot dogs. And whenever we'd go get the hot dogs, they were so darn good. Couldn't understand why. And one brother was underneath the trains. And if a pigeon got hit, we all said as kids, he used to put the pigeon in the water. That's why the water got dirty and tastes so dirty. It tastes so good. And the other brother, he had he had a hot dog cart like miles away, but I would see him when I took the bus to go to where he was, and not for him, but for stores. And every time he opened up the thing, I'd be looking in, and he goes, you want to see broken English. You want to see what the recipe is? And I said, yeah, tell me. It was. I shouldn't say the recipe.
I know you're gonna.
I shouldn't say it, but I know people would be really angry. So it's a green bell pepper, and celery,
Interesting.
and you put them in the water cold, everything cold, including the soubrette hot dogs. And this was the original recipe, from what I'm told, that for you to get a soubrette hot dog stand, you had to cook by their recipe. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's what it was. And ever since then, I've always had that locked in my head. So I said, one day I'm just going to open up a hot dog stand. And
There
I
you go.
did.
With a Martin's potato roll.
With a
Of
Martin's
course.
potato roll, of course.
That's what we
And-
sell also.
And so to get back to the story is, so your sales lady came in, a young gal with another person who was some manager. I couldn't remember both their names, but you mentioned it earlier. And you're there 16 years, so it's like right at the time that I still had the shop, but I sold it in 2011. And they said, would you want to sponsor a hot dog eating contest? And at the time, I mean, it was tight. Business was tight. So
Sure.
to do that, I don't know if I could do it. And we did it. we had so much fun. Your mascot came over, coaching the guys, yelling at them. People were pointing in the stands, and the most hot dog eaten was 9.5 hot dogs.
Wow!
And it was eaten by an employee of mine, his husband, poor guy, and it was a lot of fun. And I got to tell you, it really made me feel good.
Yeah.
Because it was a tough time. It was a tough time,
Sure.
but going there and seeing everybody getting excited. And and cost effective, place was reasonably priced for a family to go and do things, and that was good.
It is a
Anyway,
fun
that was that
family.
story.
It is very family oriented, and
Well, and that's the idea, right? It's affordable family entertainment, right? And what we are, obviously, being in minor league baseball, the goal for the players is to make it to big leagues, right? So we're in the Reds farm system, and we're the first stop in the Reds system. So there's 3 more stops that those players, have to go through in order to make it to the ultimate goal, which is the big leagues. And so in some cases it's not outside of the Reds organization. Some cases it's inside the Reds organization, and unfortunately, not everyone makes it, right? So it's about having fun. It's about getting to that next level. For us, it's about having fun and creating those memories. And, when the players are good, then they continue to move on, and that's their journey, and that's what they're supposed to do. But, our part is to have fun, make sure the players have what they need. And, it's affordable family entertainment.
Well, I can remember bringing Joe. He was little, and he got
Very little.
interacting with the players,
Yeah.
and they got to get signed things and shake their hand and throw a ball. So it was really.
I have a picture
great.
on my phone of us at the game with the mascot.
With the
I'll
mascot.
try to
I
find
remember
it before
that.
we go. So
But the other thing about community outreach, and what I love about your ball club, is that you have a care foundation, and you give money away.
We do, yeah. Tortugas Care Foundation started back in 2016, and it's about just creating that extra arm, that extra extension into the community. And the 2 main pillars are sea turtle conservation, right? Because that makes sense.
Yeah,
and, working with organizations like the Marine Science Center, and doing beach cleanups, and sponsoring turtle nests, and those kinds of things. And then the other thing is education, specifically through youth sports and of course baseball. So work very closely with the city of Daytona Beach and their baseball program. Providing uniforms, providing hats, doing different camps. We recently completed some field renovations for the city of Daytona Beach. And again, it comes down to just kids playing baseball and kids having the opportunity to play baseball. And that's kind of just an extension of our organization, and part of what we do in the community.
Well, that's important, because if you can, I forgot which famous leader. Whether it was a president or it was a member of Congress or the Senate, that said that if you can have children engaged, they're less likely to go awry, and I think it's so true. And baseball is, and let's face it, who doesn't like baseball? I mean, you come from another country, you love baseball. It's a fun game. People say, "Oh, it's boring because we got to sit there and wait." But when that action happens, man, you better be watching. Okay, don't be looking down at that hot dog to eat it. You better watch that, because those guys. There's nothing boring about that sport. That sport is so much fun. But I got good news. We're getting ready to go into my favorite spot of the show, which is show and tell. Mm-hmm. And show and tell, right? I always say when we were children. Teacher would say, bring in your best, and even if the kid didn't like you that sat next to you, he used to watch what you had.
That's right.
Because they appreciated the fact that you brought in something special. So I'm gonna show it, and if you could, Diana, if you could tell us a little bit about it. And our guest has a couple of really cool things, but we're gonna save you for last.
All right, perfect.
All right, because that thing is like chilling. Actually.
So what we have with us, obviously, is they were from an estate sale. It didn't sell. We have it at the gallery. And this is the baseball game, and he's that way.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Up. Is that good?
And I'm surprised this didn't sell. If you're really looking to play something fun with your kids or your grandkids, this would be an interesting.
I'm going to open it real quick and I'll show it.
It's a board game. Isn't that cool? Did you ever see anything like this?
No, that's really cool.
All right, hold on. I'm going to show it because
it's a Yankee piece.
Yeah.
But
we could play while we're doing the show and tell.
Deal.
All right, I'll put it over there in a minute. I'll give it to you. So it's a game, and can you open that for me?
Sure.
So
teamwork.
Yeah. So this is a board game, and these pegs you put these posts in. So, and then of course it comes with a marker, so you can mark
Got to keep score.
score, right? The scoreboard.
Oh.
All right, and it has a set of dice.
Oh, there we go.
All right, here's a few of the pins. Okay, I got it. All right, so there's one more dice in there, I think.
There we go. I'm not a very good assistant.
Okay, so you roll the dice, and then if you look here on the left and the right, it tells you
close,
it
right?
tells you which is that good? It shows you when you roll the dice what score what you get. Like, is it a double, a triple, a home run, right? So in this case here, I'm going to just roll the dice, and it has a 6 and a 4.
10.
So let's see, a 6 and a 4 is.
I don't know, Perry. You should be a little bit.
It should have been better than that. Oh, 6 and a 4 is an out, so I struck out, right?
Ooh.
So you don't get to put the pin in the peg.
One out.
Very cool game. We're gonna play while we're doing this. We're gonna play the
I
game.
don't know about that.
So anyway,
Oh, that's really neat.
Very cool.
that's very cool.
I like that.
All right, so we'll get this out of the way for a second.
Then you have the. Are you going to do the mascot?
No, the mascot we're gonna
Okay.
save for last.
All right.
Oh, my last anyway. All right, so this is, and in our shop we always have vintage items, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Strangely enough, this is, for those of you who remember this logo, this is a Pan Am binder. Okay.
Now, for those who remember, we had the FAA, the Federal Aviation Authority, had a
Training facility.
right there in Palm Coast. So many of the houses that we get involved with, they were a retired pilot, and we get a lot of aviation pieces. But this is kind of fun because inside the binder is baseball cards.
Yeah, so if you can see the players, like there's players there that a lot of people may remember. Certainly if you were an '80s kid player, Ron Darling is on there. Mookie Wilson. I'm trying to remember who's on here.
Mookie Wilson. I
Mookie
remember
Wilson,
these
yeah,
names.
he was a cool guy. And Keith Hernandez. Everybody knows Keith
that's a big
Hernandez
one.
from
Big
all those commercials with the that he played in. He always had like the Manly Man commercials, and we had other players in here. We have let's see, we have Lou Piniella from the Yankees, and then there's other players. Now, you originally were Cubs, right? At one time, you guys were the Cubs.
Yes, when I first started with the organization. Yep.
There's the Padres. The Padres are on here. This is Kenny Seabold loves the Padres. I mean, he's a good friend of mine. He loves the Padres. And where is it? There's the Cubs here.
So a shout out to Kyle at K&T Sports. I was trying to get him on as a expert of sports memorabilia, and I was hoping to locate the original trading cards going back to the turn of the century, where a baseball card was the stiffener agent. It was inside a cigarette pack. And if you get those, that is the holy grail. If you can get the actual cigarette pack with the playing card in there, that goes for some big money. But I think what's fun about this is it's a great generational thing. If grandpa collected, and then dad, and then you give it to your son, and then your grandson or granddaughters, trading cards. Remember putting them in your bicycle?
The spokes, yeah.
The spokes,
Yeah.
with the
They had multiple uses.
with a clip, with the clothesline clip.
So this box would be a box that you would purchase as a kit, kind of, I guess, if you
Like a
want to
starter
call it,
kit.
like a starter kit, right? And the company was located, I don't know if they still are, Sports and Fulfillment Center, and they were in Peekskill, New York. We're not far from there. We lived in that area. And on this particular one, this is the 1981 Topps cards in mint good condition extras. And it's also called the Commons, all right? So this was 1982, 80, 85, 83, and 84. And a Commons card means that these were just the common players. Like it's not necessarily rookie or anybody else. But I'm going to open it up real quick and show you. And there's 1,000 in here. I think it's 1,000.
Yeah,
for
probably.
800 in a box, and that's what that looks like when you do it. And commonly, you have the
And when we had Jordan Farrell on, the realtor, we talked about real estate, and he brought his collection. And of course, they're all in glacine or in card holders, and they're graded. And you can really collect. People do have some important collections. But if you just want to get started and get your kids and grandkids involved, if you buy the cards from the 80s and the 90s up to now, they're affordable. And then for when they get older, because obviously the earlier cards that are
so I have a question though before I go on to
of
the next one.
higher
Jim,
value.
what the stats, right? They have all these stats on all these players. I mean, I don't even remember really asking why, but what's so important about statistics in the game for the player that you as a general manager would look at to either hire a person, bring them in or bid on them or however it works. So what does statistics mean in your field?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything, right? I mean, everything is judged based on, do you get on base? How much do you get on base? Do you hit home runs? Do you not hit home runs? Doubles, triples, RBIs, the whole deal. And that's kind of how they're graded. And to me, that's what's interesting about baseball, right? If, you get out 2 out of 3 times, you're in the Hall of Fame, right? So, talk about kids and sports and, being able to handle failure and, especially with the amount of games that is played in baseball and, there's another game tomorrow, right? So, get right back at it. There you go. There's a cool piece.
Well, this one here, Mark, how's this look? Okay, so this is the mascot to who's this? The mascot to the Marlins, and you guys have a mascot, right? And you have a little bit more than just a mascot. You have more than one, right?
We do. We have 2. We have Sheldon and Shelly. Recently, just before the season, they got married. So yeah, minor league baseball, right? So yeah,
bless.
Sheldon and Shelly if you're hanging out at the ballpark.
Oh, how
that's
cute!
cool.
Well, we got to look for that.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
So we have a signed picture by this fellow here, and mascots are as popular as the players, if not in some cases, in some places even more so.
That's right.
So,
That's Billy the Marlin right there.
so Jim, it's your turn.
My turn.
Yeah, and let's see what you got, and again, show and tell.
All right. So I bought a few things. Do I hand it over, or do you want me to?
I'll hold it up. For
Okay,
you.
there you go. So
Tell us
the
about
first item there I brought is one of our most recent giveaways from this past weekend. It's a Bob Ross bobblehead. We, as I mentioned earlier, it's the 10th anniversary of the Tortugas, and so we brought back some of our more popular promotions that we've had through the last 10 years, and Bob Ross has certainly been one of those. So he's got an easel there. He's painting a beautiful, beautiful picture where there's no accidents, just happy little mistakes on of Jackie Robinson Ballpark there.
That's very cool.
Next item again with the 10th anniversary, have a bobblehead here. So we are doing a collect them all series from 5 players who've been with Tortugas in the last 10 years, and they'll all connect to make a nice little image there. So that bobblehead there specifically is Jonathan India, who is now with the Kansas City Royals. So that was one of the bobbleheads we had so far this year.
And how long did he play for you guys?
He was with us for about a season or so. He went to the University of Florida, so he's originally a Florida guy as well. And was with the Reds for 5 or 6 years, and then this offseason moved over to the Royals. So
your players. I mean, I love going to your league, and your what level league is it?
Class A.
And these guys play with heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want to be the pros. They want to get to that level, and every game that they play is a game that it's like it's so serious for them that this is what they want to do.
Oh yeah,
and they dedicate their life. I mean, there's challenges, but that's the game you want to go, folks. I mean, if you live here in the area, you want to go down to the Tortugas, and you want to enjoy
Let me
that.
take a look at that.
Okay.
All right.
You want to really enjoy what they provide.
Something we learned from Jen and Steve, our son and daughter-in-law, is when you're getting collectibles, you buy 2.
there you go.
One you keep in the box and never open, and you put on the shelf. And the other one you let the kids play with. You open up, you use it. Because they have quite a collection. They have Star Wars and I think they got Pikachu. Do they have Pokemon stuff?
And there you
What
go.
is that?
All kinds of good stuff.
Oh,
So
I like that bucket hat.
The next one, yeah, it's a bucket hat that we gave away last weekend again, and yeah, just something fun, right? It's got a nice little floral pattern. It's got our 10th anniversary logo on it, and
So can you buy that, or you can only get it at a giveaway?
that was just a giveaway in particular.
Oh,
So
wow.
we have other hats and other things in our merchandise store, but that one in particular was a giveaway item. So you just figured out, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, this was a catcher's mask that was gifted. There you go. There you go. That's a good look. This was a catcher's mask from the late 1800s that was given to us as an organization. And, when we first started talking, I said this would be the perfect piece. This would be the perfect item. So, you think about, these days, 95, 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming in at you. Technology has certainly come a long way, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, really, really cool piece. Again, that was gifted to us as an organization, and something really special.
So is there a museum of items when you go to the park? Is there items on display?
Yeah, great question. So that's something that we're working on as part of our renovations. Right now, the museum piece is really comes down to Jackie Robinson, and not only his life, but of course also his time here in Daytona Beach. And you walk around, you see different plaques, you see different items, you see different things. Again, regarding Jackie Robinson and his life, and especially in Daytona Beach.
Well, you've been a great guest, and we're very honored to have you and your organization here. And can you give us one more time, tell us about yourself so Diana could close us out?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Again, Jim Jaworski, President and General Manager of the Daytona Tortugas, and happy to celebrate my 16th season here with the organization, and really appreciate you guys having me on today, and had some fun, and brought some cool stuff. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Right, Diana?
All right. So the estate sale from last weekend was Vermont Antiques. Very well received. It was a long time coming, and we have a couple of things left. If you love that dining room set in cherry with the black Parsons button-back chairs, I have that left. We have one twin bed, and I think we're going to wrap up. I've got some buyers on the last couple of items, so that's looking to close out. And then we have this week's sale that we'll be working on over the weekend into next week is called Mixed Woods and Awesome Art. It's on 20 Beckett Lane. And we said mixed woods because there's like golden oak curio, there's a cherry dining room set, there's a mahogany dining room set, mahogany living room set, an espresso bedroom set, antique harvest table. So all kinds of woods, all colors. I think it'll be something for everyone from antique to vintage to contemporary. Over at the gallery, we just closed out the Father's Day. We just closed out Memorial Day, and now we're going to be celebrating Father's Day. So we're getting that together, and be sure to check out the website.
Are you giving me a day off?
I think that's a no.
Right.
There is no day off ever. Yes, we'll give you the day off, Per.
It happens to be
So you can mow the lawn.
My birthday is the 19th too.
That's right.
No, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll work on that. New arrivals at the gallery. So the good news is that Yamaha black lacquer piano got delivered, which was great. So that's out of there. And the antique mahogany merchant's desk got picked up.
Which, by the way, that piano, when I had several professionals play it.
Oh, that was sweet.
And when we opened up the lid, it was an upright. When we opened up a black lacquer, it was beautiful. We opened up the lid, and inside the back of our shop is got a raised ceiling, and this one player. And I had three professionals, but this one player that played it was a concert pianist. And oh my God, you blew the roof off the building.
Probably the best piano we've ever had.
Oh it was beautiful. Yeah.
But what's new in that grandmother clock, that little, it's a small and narrow and has little curio spots in it. And it's electric, so you don't have to wind it and do everything.
I didn't get
But it's got a great look.
Yeah.
You didn't hit that up?
No, I didn't see
Oh.
that.
All right. And then we have those pair of Louis chairs in carved rosewood with red and cream upholstery, and that footed blanket chest. It's all carved in mahogany. Inside is lined with cedar. So we got some really great items at the shop. Our next estate planning council meeting, Fernanda Haley again with PNC Bank, Private Bank. She's been coordinating our speaking guests, and we have Chris and Praise Dunlop. Chris is the realtor of Dunlop Realty, and his wife is the residential appraiser of Dunlop Homes valuation. So they'll be coming in and telling us all about what the local senior housing trends are, which is it's a big deal. So that's what we got coming up, and
We either supply you stuff for your new downsized house, or we
That's
we
true.
sell you stuff because you're downsizing.
That's true.
Double-edged sword. At the
Well, you have
Diana
the king.
Minotti
You
Fine
need
Art.
to sell your king bed. It doesn't fit in the new place. I sell you a queen bed. You get rid of that big dining room set, and I get you a little bistro set.
There you go.
You know, it all works out. Well, thank you very much. Again, a pleasure having you. We'll be seeing you soon. We're scheduled to go to a game, which I want, and I want to bring the crew out to a game.
Yeah, we should do that as one of our events for them.
One of our
Yeah, we
summer
appreciate
for
that.
the summer, maybe
We want
for
to
my
thank Mark,
birthday.
our engineer. Don't forget.
Thank you,
right?
Mark. It's been a pleasure. All right, thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.